Have you ever been to a leadership seminar, read a leadership book, or learned about leadership from a teacher or a coach or a manager or a boss or a parent? I'm sure you probably answered yes to one of those questions, right? So about 15 years ago, I went to this leadership seminar in Atlanta, Georgia. We were starting a company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin called onmilwaukee.com, and we're having some early nice success. But starting something from nothing isn't easy. So at least I always jumped at chances to learn and grow. One of the first exercises at this seminar was this was a really small group, maybe 9, 10 people. And the trainer says, all right, here's the drill. You have just won $1 million. Show me how you react. So the first person gets up. She jumps up and down. She yells. She screams. She kind of goes crazy. I don't know. Maybe she did a somersault or something. The next woman pulls out a fake, one of those like dollar guns, dollar bill guns, and like she starts shooting like dollar bills into the air with her fingers. Yeah, that's kind of creative. The next guy takes out real dollar bills and starts throwing them in the air and giving them to the crowd and running around and high-fiving everyone and, woohoo, I just won $1 million. And me, when it came to my turn, I just kind of pumped my fist once and then I started making lists. And the instructor kind of came over to me and rolled his eyes and said, where's the enthusiasm, Sherman? And I smiled and I simply said, it's inside. And he kind of laughed. And then he went on to the next person, and the next person did their like happy dance, blah, 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 I won $1 million. And it was an interesting exercise. So my point, I guess, was that enthusiasm, by definition, is a great eagerness to be involved in a particular activity which you like or enjoy and you think is important. But I had a former boss, still a good friend to this day, Joe Sweeney, who always told me and reminded me that enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, Sherman, which means the God within. Joe always reminded me of this every meeting, every one of our Monday morning staff meetings. And the happiest, most interesting people are those who have found the secret to maintaining their enthusiasm, right? Not necessarily an outward jumping around, doing cartwheels, but enthusiasm is that God within. So I'm not here necessarily to talk about God, but clearly that leadership trainer at that seminar didn't want to hear it, right? And he didn't really want to say, all right, enthusiasm isn't about being quiet and looking inside yourself, right? But it is. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about God as I go on, but I'm a Marquette grad, right? After all, I'm here to talk about enthusiasm and how to get it outside of you from within you, all right? Enthusiasm, again, it is the God within. No matter how spiritual, how faithful, how much you believe or don't believe, we all have something within us that needs to be extracted and that the world needs to hear. There's not a whole lot of magic in it, but it's incredibly important. So here we go. I like lists. These are my top 5 tips on how you can find your enthusiasm and your calling. You can take these with a grain of salt, right? Free advice is free advice. So number 1, in everything you do, whether it's a project you're working on at work or it's communication with a friend, be persistent, but don't be a pain in the ass. All right? There are ways to get your enthusiasm outside of you. Like you got something you really want to do, be persistent in how you pursue it. But don't be a jerk and don't be stupid about it. Number 2, follow the golden rule. God, family, and friends. Find faith, whatever that faith is. find God in all things, connect, contribute, be kind, be positive. I have to remind myself of these things each and every day. I'm probably not as kind and as positive as I want to be and as I need to be. And so I have to seek out ways to make sure that, hey, when I treat other people, however I'm treating them, that's the way I want to be treated. All right. It's that golden rule. It's that platinum rule, right? You treat people the way that they want to be treated and the way that you want to be treated. Be kind. Number three is do what you love, but know that you might not be able to do it right away. And everyone probably tells you this at some stage in your career, whether you're 30 or 50 or 70. But sometimes kind of sounds like a crock, if you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life, that kind of stuff. Um, Out of school, I wanted to be in sports marketing. I had a marketing and finance degree from Marquette University. I had interned with the Milwaukee Bucks. I had interned with the Marquette Athletic Department. I thought I was like, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to go manage a business development department at a pro sports team. And I sent letters to every NFL team, every NBA team, Major League Baseball team, hockey team, college team. I got a lot of cool emails back. I got a lot of really cool letterhead, some old school letters. I didn't get any jobs. I got no job offers in the sports field I wanted to be in. But I ended up working for a politician who eventually became associated with how do we build a new ballpark for the Milwaukee Brewers to make sure that they stay in Milwaukee. That led me to a career to work with and alongside sports organizations for most of my career, which has been really cool. And it also led to, I mentioned him before in the conversation, meeting a guy who became Brett Favre's marketing agent, Joe Sweeney. I spent some years at the Wisconsin Sports Authority, which was a private nonprofit developmental group that helped recruit and retain sports in the state of Wisconsin. So I didn't get my dream job right away of working for a sports team, but I got to stay connected and work in the sports world. It happens as it's meant to. Number four, you got to make a plan. You got to write down goals, but you have to know that life is like a musical score. Somebody once told me this, and it's so true. You can't get discouraged when things aren't going your way. They're going the way that they're meant to. And you got to know that there's a plan to life and that things work themselves out. That doesn't mean you don't have to work your ass off and that you don't have to you don't have to position yourself and promote yourself and protect yourself at every corner. But you got to know that you write down your goals, you work your butt off to get to them. If something throws you off, you may not get there, but you're going to get there eventually, right? You got to keep that mentality that it's a little bit of, there's a great podcast called Pivot with Scott Galloway and Kara Swisher. Scott Galloway mentions often in life, things are neither good nor bad. They just happen. And you got to interpret how things happen to you to tackle your goals. And number five, this is incredibly basic, but you got to learn more and you got to listen better. My grandma, probably your grandma, reminded you that you have two ears and one mouth for a reason. You're supposed to listen more than you talk. And it's really hard, I think, not to want to inject your opinions instantly into social media or to talk at the dinner table when everyone else is talking to get your word out or your message across or your ideas or your opinion. Sometimes just hold back and listen. Take it all in and then be the last person to react. It's an interesting way to tackle conversations. But No matter what you do, you got to learn more always, and you got to listen better. Books, seminars, more school, lunches, breakfast. Take meetings with people you respect and love and want to be like. You need their help. Just ask. People are really willing to help, and there's a lot of wonderful people in the world that are willing to give you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe a lifetime of advice. People love to talk about themselves, and if you listen to the right people, whether it's your parents, whether it's your boss, whether it's a mentor, you know what? You're going to learn something. You may not take it in and do everything the way that he or she is telling you to do it, but you're going to learn something and you're going to continue to grow and evolve. All right, that's 5 simple ways to bring enthusiasm, right? That God within, outside of you and into the world. You're going to be a better person. The world is going to be a better place because you're going to be more enthusiastic no matter what and how you tackle enthusiasm in your life each and every day. All right, I'm Jeff Sherman. You can find me on Twitter at Sherman Jeff. The next time we talk, we're going to talk a little bit about congeniality. Because you know what? Several years ago, I won Mr. Congeniality Award. I'll tell you more about it. Thanks for listening.